Hey YouTube, and we're back. It's Bear with BearIndependent.com, which is where the store is at, which is where all the patches, stickers, thumb drives, t-shirts, Bear facts, all that stuff is at. Check it out, or don't, whatever. If you don't, my wife's gonna be mad at you. That's fine. She's a pretty good shot, just saying. Now, how to put together a MAG meeting, Mutual Assistance Group meeting. I will tell you what we do, what we have done in the past. Frankly, with the onset of winter, my MAG has not been terribly active. That's a fact. Something that we will rectify in the springtime. Well, let's start with this. The first is a MAG should have leadership. Not necessarily a leader, more like leaders. Multiple people who can steer the boat as needed, because some people might be on mission, other people might be on vacation, other people might be on call with the fire department or their police department or whatever. Somebody might have an illness or an injury that precludes them from attending, so forth and so on. So you need leadership, not necessarily a leader. You can have a senior leader and a junior leader. You can have a president, a vice president, however you want to put that together, but you need more than one, right? Two is one is none. If you're a MAG leader, if SHTF happens and your MAG leader is trying to implement your bug out strategy for your crew and gets hit by a bus, done, right? And so you should have redundancy in a lot of ways, but especially in leadership in your MAG. So that if one of us gets busy, yeah, my fault, I'm gonna own it. I've been really busy and I've not done anything with the MAG in a while. So if one of us gets busy, another one can step in and say, hey, I got this for 3 months, or I got this today, or whatever. Now, when we set these things up, typically what we do, and I've discussed this ad nauseum elsewhere, but I know we have a lot of new people here, so I shall do my best to shine additional light on the subject. We like to find a place to gather together. This place should have a bathroom. It should have 4 walls and a roof, unless it's an enjoyable time of year. But even then, outdoor events are subject to the weather at hand. Mosquitoes, rain, blinding sun, tornadoes, whatever, okay? Mother Nature oftentimes fails to cooperate with my expectation of how she should behave herself. So having 4 walls and a roof and a bathroom is a good place to start. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have that, but it is a good place to start. We like to have a kitchen where we do these things, because we do a block of instruction or 2 in the morning. We have lunch, and then we fellowship, and then we leave, okay? Now, block of instruction. Typically, we'll say we start at 10 a.m. We're gonna have a 10 a.m. block of instruction starts up. It's hot today, by the way. Yeah, you like my firmer tan? It is hot today, and it's one of those rare late winter, very early spring days. Today it's gonna get up to almost 70 degrees. And in addition to that, I'm burning scrap wood. So it's a little warm. Now, 10 a.m. start time. Cool. Why? Because typically people come from up to 3 hours away to these things. A great example, again, the Viking meetups from Viking Preparedness. People generally come from up to about 3 hours away. And it's been my experience with a MAG here, people will come from up to about 3 hours away. So if your start time is 10, that means that people can leave the house by 7, which means, worst case scenario, they don't have to get up till 6:30 maybe. They don't have to leave the house at 3 a.m. to make it to your 7 a.m. start time for your meeting, okay? So we typically start about 10 a.m. And we will have 2 blocks of instruction in the morning. Those blocks of instruction go for 40, maybe 45 minutes, because that gives 15 to 20 minutes in between each block of instruction as a reset. People can go pee. People can go smoke a cigarette if they want to. We can tear down whatever the first block of instruction was, set up for the second one. People have a few minutes to fellowship, stretch their legs, get up, walk around, go use that restroom if they need to, whatever. And 40 to 45 minutes is a good length of time for a block of instruction, because you can get fairly deep, but not so deep that you start to lose people. So 40 to 45 minute block of instruction times 2. So first block of instruction is, say, from 10:05 to 10:45, break for 15 minutes. Next block of instruction is from 11 to 11:45, break for 15 minutes. Lunch is at noon. The way that we do lunch, battle dog, the way that we do lunch at noon is that we ask people, it's a potluck, bring a dish. And people do. We always have coffee going. There's always water there. Coffee and water is about a $20 commitment to max a $50 commitment, depending on the size of your group. And this is worth discussing. You must commit to this. Your time and your resources and your energy. It may very well cost you money to host a meetup, to host a mag meeting, to host a training event. Roger that. You have to invest yourself in other people. You have to, especially if you're trying to have meaningful relationships with them. You have to put something of yourself into other people. And if you find good people, the more of yourself you put into them, the more you will get back. You reap what you sow, okay? So we have coffee and water on hand. That's like non-negotiable, bro. Coffee and water. People bring their dishes, main dish, side dish, and we usually try and coordinate this through email. Hey, I'm gonna bring barbecued chicken, enough to feed 24 people, which might be 24 chicken quarters or whatever, right? So forth and so on. Cool, I'll bring the bean dip, and you bring that coleslaw that you make that I really like, and hey, I'm gonna do some baked beans, and I suck at cooking, so I'm gonna bring a couple sacks of chips. Okay, cool, right? Awesome, whatever. So you have food. Now this means you have to have a place to sit and eat food. You have to have a trash can to put all the consumable paper products that you're gonna eat off of in, which means you gotta have consumable paper products, right? And then you fellowship. You all hang out, you eat. If you're of a mind, you pray over your food and ask a blessing on it, which is always good to be with like-minded people. And you eat and you talk and you fellowship and you swap war stories and, you know, trade horses and yada, yada, yada. And you get to know each other all a little bit better, spend a little bit more time with each other, build a little bit more context. And then after that, you clean up and you fellowship. And here's why you don't train after lunch. Because in my experience, after that lunch break, the hardcore folks, they're in. They're like, yeah, what's next? Those that are less hardcore are not. They want to let their food settle. They want to continue that conversation they were having with Bob and Susie at table 3 about goat's milk cheese. Okay. Well, it's just never been for me really productive to try and force people back into a training mentality after lunch in these environments. People want to sit and talk, so let them sit and talk. Use that to your advantage for people to exchange numbers. Again, get to know each other a little bit better, continue to build context, and then have a heart out. Hey guys, we only have this facility, whatever it might be, whether it's somebody's house, a pavilion at a local park, the Kiwanis Club, the community center in your neighborhood, your whatever, the church boardroom, just pick something. We've only got this facility until 3 o'clock. Okay, cool. Have a heart out. Guys, we got to shut it down by 3 o'clock. A good thing to do is have a clipboard with a pen and a piece of paper on there And if people want to put their phone numbers or emails, I find people are much more, even when they're new, much more interested in giving somebody their email than their phone number. Give them your email, and sorry, my leg itches. My leg. Give them your email, and then you can get a little email chain going, do an email blast, and keep everybody informed. You should know when the next one is. And a lot of times what my mag does is when we get together, we figure out when the next one is going to be, because we can all sit there and compare dates on our calendars, on our iPhones right there. And go, yep, you know what? June 25th works for me. Cool. Let's do June 25th. And if 80% of your people can be there on a day, that's your day. I don't think I've ever scheduled one that 100% of people could be there. 80%, right? Pareto principle. 80-20 rule. Perfect is the enemy of good enough in a lot of cases. In this case, 80% is good enough. And usually what you find is that last 20%, some of them will move some stuff around to be there if 80% have committed to be there. Myself included, I've done that. Hey, I got to cancel this thing so I can be there because everybody else is going to be there, right? So 80%, good place to start. And then your training should be the type of thing that is applicable across the board. And if you're breaking people into groups, you put the more advanced people with the more advanced people and the less advanced people with the less advanced people. That's a tactic. You can also, depending on what it is, put a more advanced person with a less advanced person. Let's say we're going to teach, this is a great example. Our 2 blocks of instruction this morning are going to be pistol disarms and pressure canning. Okay? So we'll take Bob and Susie. Bob is 17 years with the LA County SWAT department, and he's got a black belt in Aikido, and he's a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and he took 16 months of Muay Thai, and he shoots expert. Cool. And Susie is an avid gardener, and she's really looking forward to getting some goats in the spring because she wants to start getting some goat's milk. And because of that, she's learned that they need to basically remain pregnant. So she's now learning about animal husbandry, and she's really excited about making some fromage. Okay, pair those two together. On the pistol disarm course, Bob is going to instruct Susie. And that's good. And he's going to show her, hey, you don't want to have your finger inside the trigger guard here, because when you spin this back around this way, then that can break this finger. And in real life, that's cool because that could be advantageous. You know, for the purposes of training, we're not going to do that today. And here's how you do this, and the blah, 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 right? And then our second block of instruction, Susie and Bob are still paired up. But now Susie is the de facto subject matter expert, and she's going to teach Bob everything there is to know about pressure canning and how many pounds of pressure you need inside of this quart jar with this raw beef in order to make this to work for 10 pounds at 75 minutes because of botulism, bro, and XYZ, right? And so you get some cross-pollination here, and now the super tactical badass that is Bob has a growing respect for Susie. And Susie, who thought all this gun stuff was just for the boys and their toys, is starting to realize that it is actually applicable to her as well. So there's cross-pollination there. And so that's a way to do this training, is that to have something that's relative. If you have 2 different training things, not just one, you can touch more bases on what's applicable overall to your people. The other way to do that is to, you know, this Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, we'll say, we're all going to get together and train pistol disarms for 2 hours. And then the first Sunday of next month, we're all going to get together and pressure can for 2 hours. You can do that as well, however your schedule fits. And in some cases, the thing that you're training is going to require more than 45 minutes of instruction. In that case, yeah, maybe it's a single task day. Today we are working on nothing but basic marksmanship from the AR-15 platform, and we've rented a range, or Uncle Joe has one that we can use at his place, and we're going to run everybody through the basics of AR. And I don't care if you've been operating operationally like an operator for the last 27 years, you are going to run through the basics of the AR platform. And in fact, if you're that good, you're going to help me teach it. because Susie needs to know. Okay? Back to the militant farmer rifle shovel concept. So these are just some pointers on mag stuff that I have done in the past. If you've done mag stuff in the past, I'm interested in your productive comments down below. It's I'm not perfect at this. And everything I know from this, I know from doing and experiencing and being a part of stuff. So I would encourage you to do and experience and be a part of stuff. Click the baby bear. Shalom, y'all.